So what's the deal with ICE? One side is pushing hard, the other side is pushing back even harder. It's become a real tug of war. And the big question is ICE on its way out? Let's get into it.
Okay, think of it like this. A neighborhood wants safety. So a neighborhood watch gets created. Simple enough. Their job? Just keep an eye out.
But what happens if that watch gets a little too powerful? They stop just watching. They start breaking down doors. They start scaring the very people they were supposed to protect. And all of a sudden, the neighborhood doesn't feel protected. It feels threatened. So what do? They start to push back. And that right there is the basic conflict we're going to explore. So first up, let's look at how that watch got so aggressive. This part is all about ICE's really intense crackdown all across the US. I mean, just listen to this quote. It really captures how intense these operations are. In one Chicago neighborhood, you had federal forces using military tactics. We're talking Black Hawk helicopters, soldiers rappelling down onto rooftops, and agents going into homes, a lot of times without a proper judicial warrant. And the scale of these operations can be just massive. This number? That's from a single raid on one factory in Georgia. Almost 500 immigrant workers were arrested, locked up, and then deported. And look, this isn't just one or two isolated incidents. A pretty clear pattern has started to emerge. We're seeing raids everywhere: homes, factories, restaurants. We're seeing agents hop out of unmarked cars to swarm people. Military helicopters in major American cities. And what's really crucial here is that both citizens and non-citizens have been swept up in this. All right, now for the reaction, because with every single raid, it seems like the community just pushes back harder. And you can actually see this pushback in the polling data. For the very first time, a recent poll shows that more Americans are for abolishing ICE than are against it. That is a major turning point in public opinion. This isn't just talk either. It's happening out on the streets. People are getting organized in some very direct ways. Everything from huge protests and community watch groups that track agents, to neighbors physically stepping in to protect each other, and even disrupting agents where they're staying. And it's not just a grassroots thing. The resistance is starting to get official. Out in California, LA County is trying to create what they're calling ICE-free zones. And up in Minnesota, the state itself is actually suing the federal administration to try and block more agents from coming in. So you have this physical fight, and it's created a total war of words. There are two completely different stories being told to explain what's going on here. This comparison really shows you the divide. On one side, the administration is saying, we're targeting violent criminals and our brave officers are under attack. But on the other side, critics are saying, no, this is about hurting families, creating chaos, and a dangerous abuse of federal power. Here's the administration's story, in their own words. You see how they frame it? It's not a local response from the community, it's a coordinated, sinister attack on law enforcement itself. And then, here's the other side. For critics, the consequences are incredibly real and personal. They see people being harmed, families getting separated, and in the worst cases, people dying. So with all this conflict, all this tension, you have to wonder, what's the point of it all? What's the strategy? Let's dig into some of the theories. Right. Why create so much conflict? Why use these super aggressive tactics when you know it's going to get a strong reaction? What's the ultimate goal? While few theories have been floated, is it a political tool to punish cities run by the other party? Is the whole point to create chaos, which then justifies an even bigger federal response? Is it just about getting dramatic video clips for political base? Or is it really about the vision of a few specific people in power? And one name keeps popping up again and again: Stephen Miller. He's often seen as the ideological force behind these policies. He reportedly pushed for more and more arrests, and under his influence, ICE has basically doubled in size, while training standards have apparently gone down. That leads to a much more aggressive force out on the street. So the key takeaway here is that this tug of war is far from over. Let's take a quick look at where things stand right now. Okay, so remember the official claim about targeting violent criminals? Well, the government's own data tells a different story. Almost 3/4 of all the people held by ICE have no criminal conviction at all. 0. So that data flat out contradicts the main reason we're given for these raids. It really suggests that the net being cast is way wider than the official story lets on. And that brings us right back to our analogy at the start. The rope is stretched tight.
You've got federal power pulling as hard as it can on one end, but you've got community and state resistance pulling just as hard on the other. So the big question is, who lets go first?